Peepaw Kurt, what are you nerding out about?
This week, which is funny because I didn't type it in, but Dune 2, because it just hit streaming, and I rewatched Dune 1 and then immediately binged Dune 2.
Would you recommend that's the best way to do it? Because it's been a minute since I watched the first Dune 1.
Okay. Yep. Very much so. My wife and I did that as well. We rewatched 1 and then watched 2.
And I remember feeling this when I first saw Dune 1. And when I finished watching it again, I went, oh my God, that was so good. It was just so good. And this comes from a dude who was bored to tears with the original Dune adaptations.
You're talking about the 1980s?
Both of them. Stewart? Because there was one
you
later,
didn't like
too.
the sci-fi one?
Did not.
Your sci-fi list. Got it.
Yep. Didn't like either one of them.
The sci-fi one did hit for me. That and Children of Dune hit better for me.
And I could not pay attention to the book. Like, I tried reading the original Dune, and I couldn't do it. So this one, I am all in.
So you just needed Willy Wonka, and then you're good to go. Gotcha.
Timothée Chalamet didn't really hit my radar until Dune, and dude's great. He's great. And that chemistry with him and Zendaya is amazing. And there were two cool surprises for me in Dune 2, and it's not plot related at all.
Okay.
I didn't realize Florence Pugh was going to be in it, and she's awesome. Or Christopher Walken.
I had no idea about either one of those. So
neither did I. And it was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the sci-fi version. I don't remember much about the 80s version. I tried to watch it as an adult, and I couldn't get past opening credits, to be honest with you. I've mentioned many times, one of my things is visual quality, and the quality of that movie did not hold up from the 80s. But I must have seen it as a kid.
Yeah.
With my parents, because I remember we used to have to drive like an hour to the other town to go to a movie theater. The only reason I know I saw it is just because I can clearly remember driving home from the movie theater with the sun being out, because that's always weird to come up with a movie with the sun out. And just because we didn't have tablets and phones and stuff to keep us entertained. So I'm watching the trees go by on the side of the road, and I'm just picturing just giant worms, going alongside us. That's the only reason I know I saw it. I remember nothing about it. But the one in the late 90s, early 2000s that was sci-fi, that one hit for me. And then of course this version as well.
Yeah, I may actually go back and watch the old one with Patrick Stewart and Kyle MacLachlan, just because I was super pumped after watching Dune 2. Because I'm not familiar with the books, so I don't know where it's going. But I think it's awesome.
This Khaleesi Arday says that she loved it. Her and her husband watched it. It was great. Joe, obviously you piped in there. So what else are you nerding out about?
So I'm the one that actually put Dune 2 in there, but I assumed Kurt was wanting to talk about it anyway based on his subtitle there.
Well, here's how it worked pre-show, baseball players. We're going behind baseball. I put in mine because I was here first. Then Joe came in and put in one. Then Kurt showed up, and a third one appeared, i.e. bingo bongo. It's Kurt's.
But it wasn't.
Right. It is now. So what else you got?
Oh man, yeah, no. Dune 2 was very, very, very good. And like Kurt, I haven't read the books. I did get the first book for Christmas. So I should read it at some point. But yeah, no, very good. And it had a lot more nuance than I thought it would have, to be completely honest, with some of the characters' internal struggles and different political machinations and things like that. It was very good.
I will say, sorry, for the sci-fi version, I wouldn't agree with that's what grabbed me about the sci-fi version is the main character's portrayal of what he went through with the training and the ideas. The movie itself may not have been good. I haven't watched it back, but when he said that about I'm like, oh, I'm really looking forward to Dune 2 because that's absolutely what I liked about the sci-fi version is I felt like the character moved in his arc, if you will.
What was interesting to me is that I became way more interested in the Ben Gesserit than I ever thought I would. Like it just, I felt like, okay, that's what his mom's doing. That's cool, but
interesting. It must have been just where you were in life when because I same thing in the sci-fi version. The Bene Gesserits were amazing.
Well, I'm talking about just in these movies.
And I know. Overall, the Bene Gesserits.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
cool.
Yeah. So, it was weird. It was because I wasn't sure. I went in completely skeptical when Dune 1 hit. I went, I'm going to give this a shot, but man, it hasn't taken yet. And it was great.
I want to say they're only planning on one more, right? I think.
Well, I mean, probably, but you know how it goes. How many books are there? And they're gonna milk it until they can't.
And then they'll make prequels, and then
right.
But yeah,
they'll release an anime.
Yeah, if you want to know more about that specific line of thinking,
the Dune anime is known as Avatar: The Last Airbender. Go ahead. All right. Nah, that was the worst anime. I know that's the worst anime reference I could give.
Well,
but what else?
And Avatar: The Last Airbender is not technically an anime, but anyway. Well, the other thing I'm nerding out about this week is Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth season 3 dropped.
I'm not caught up.
So they had already planned on this being the final season. They went into it with this their plan being the final season. But as much as I liked it, I do feel that they rushed it. It does have some pacing issues. Overall enjoyable. I liked it. But the ending especially had some pacing issues the last 3 or so episodes. And I mean, it's got 8 episodes total in the last season. In general, I've liked it the whole time. Charles, have you even watched it yet? I recommended it to you after the last season aired.
I think you actually recommended it when the first season aired.
Probably.
Again when the second season aired. Honestly, it's been on the radar. It's been on the list. We just never got to it.
It's done now, so you can binge the whole thing. For those who don't know what Sweet Tooth is, it is based off
it's a clown from Twisted Metal.
Yep.
It is based off of a DC comic, but it is not in the Justice League universe. So let's just preface that. If I remember correctly, it was written independently, and then they approached DC, and DC picked it up. It's a world where a disease that they just call the Sick broke out and rapidly spread throughout the entire world. When humans catch the Sick, their pinkies start fluttering, and they die shortly thereafter. But another thing that came along with the Sick is that no more human children were born. Any children born after that, they call them hybrids because they're part animal, part human. The main character is a deer hybrid. One of the other characters calls him Sweet Tooth, but his name is actually Gus. Gus. And so he's the main character. And I will say, for how I don't even know how old the kid is, but for a child actor, his acting is phenomenal in my opinion. He nails it. And so very good series. I want to say each season is 8 episodes. I could be wrong on that. So roughly 24 episodes for the whole thing. And they wrapped it up on their own timetable. They're not planning on doing any more. Yeah, my wife put in the chat here. that she binge watched season 1 and 2 before 3 came out, and yeah, good stuff. Fantastic. And there's a lot of political machinations in that as well, because there's a lot of nuance to a lot of bigoted people who hate the hybrids and because the sick and the hybrids happened at the same time, they blame the hybrids for all of the death from the sick. They blame the sick on the hybrids. And just like a lot of other shows, it was the pride of humans that really caused everything, because they were trying to make a cure-all for everything,
right?
And it turned into the sick.
Yeah, and for people wondering, that it's under the Vertigo imprint under DC, which is where they kind of put their non-superhero and more adult-themed things.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not caught up. I think I'm only halfway through season 2, but I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch this with younger kids. It's not bad per se, but there's a lot more adult themes, and there is some the violence can get kind of graphic at times.
To say not great treatment of kids.
Yes. So, but yeah.
Speaking of not treating your kids great, I'm nerding out. I'm nerding out about actually hanging out and connecting with my kids on different levels.
And that's not treating them great, because
with Father's Day coming up,
Yeah. I've been campaigning for a new projector for my backyard for Father's Day.
Oh, you've been campaigning for that for like a year or a year and a half. They didn't figure it out last year, so you just kept on campaigning for it.
I mean, there's nothing to figure out. I legit have an Amazon wish list that is public that I share with them directly, saying this is what I want, and for anything. But last week I ended up going to Clearwater, Florida, for a conference. Things happened with work. Some information hit, put me in a very stressful position, and from Wednesday night of last week and all the way through to yesterday morning, just very high stress, very crunching things, figuring things out. It was not a great time. However, I've built up those habits of finding my center and finding just those moments of rest and peace, that I actually forced myself to go outside and smoke cigars. And it's a nice enough day. Zoe, my youngest, was hanging around, and she asked me, as this is her way of saying she wants to hang out. She'll come out and go, "What are you doing?" And it's always at the most inopportune times, like, "Well, I go out to the backyard to smoke a cigar. What are you doing?" She goes, "Well, I am going outside to smoke a cigar." I'm like, "All right, let's see how that goes." Which of course she didn't, but we got to talking, we got to hanging out. We ended up doing some dueling TikToks. We're both recording at the same time and asking questions. And then she asked, so we did that and we posted it, and of course her account's private, but you see my side of it, and Erin, her mom, she saw the other side of it. So and maybe later in life it'll be funnier when it's safer for her to release those more to the public. But then, as we're sitting, we're chilling, we're talking, she wanted to do another one. So I had a lot of fun doing that, and messing with her and asking her questions. As I said on the show, redid the computer so it runs faster, it's better. Crosby and I've been tweaking some things with the computer, working together on that and the sound to kind of get the best experience. Oakland, we were about to catch up again. We did some good catching up, but he just left his job this week. And we're going to talk about that and some choices in life and just catch up and talk. He will be, he hit 19 this year, so he is at that moment of like, let's see where we can help you get to the next level. And my son Ryland has been, he is just this weird, awesome catch-all of, he wants to code, like he knows how to do some scratch and different other things like that and make games. And he did that with Hugh was down. He's like, Hugh, let's build a game. And him and Hugh went and nerded out for a little bit. But he also loves baseball. He loves working out. And he loves to cook. So like this, on most diagrams of how we grew up, there's no diagram that these things go together. But just so I'll leave it with this. Right before I left to go on this trip, it was just me, him, and Zoe at night. And I'd gone and acted like I was going to shoot him because he has this wall of Nerf guns like John Wick in his room. And so it took one and it wasn't loaded. But then he took it upon himself that while I was nice and had some drink on me, he came around the corner and I didn't see him. He shot me kind of behind the ear, and it scared the ever living bejesus out of me. And of course, everybody, we all laughed. And I was like, oh, I'll remember this. And Erin forgot to help me, and I forgot to ask her. But while I was gone, I told her, you got to do this weird thing. I'm going to put this Nerf gun over here where he won't see it. And at some point at night, when I'm gone, he knows I'm gone, I'm going to have you sneak into his room, just whisper in his ear, your dad says hello, and pop him with the gun. But we didn't do that. What I did do is right after I came back, one of the first, and it's fun. I'll tell you, it is fun when you're super stressed with work, and there's only so much you can do. To have at that moment the family kind of step up and be the distraction, which has not always been the case in my life. It was a lot of fun. So I was catching up with him, talking about he had a bad baseball night and came in. We're talking this and another, and they said, "Oh yeah, you remember before I left that you stuck around the corner and you shot me in the back of the head and scared the crap." He's like, "Oh yeah, I don't remember shooting you." I was like, "Yeah, you do. You remember. I do too. I want you to know I remember, and I know you know it's coming." And then I left his room, and he's like doing the laughing thing, whatever. And then I gave him about almost exactly 60 seconds, and I heard it. He thinks I couldn't remember. I heard him racking his gun, trying to load his Nerf stuff. So I walked back in, and his door, he never shuts his door, so it's always just barely cracked. So I busted in the door and just went, "Hey man, another thing." And he jumps, he's dropping the gun and this and that and the other. And I was like, "Yeah, so when you play baseball, why are you jumping? Why are you jumping? Why do you have this gun? What are you about to do?" So, "Oh, I thought you were coming for me." It's like, why would I come for you? And I gaslit the crap out of him. And for a week, I've been like, just don't remember. Just don't remember. Then we'll let it die. And in about another 2 weeks or so, I'm going to pop him and get him good with his guns. So I'm having a blast with that.
So that's going to be your Father's Day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I might. They always sleep in, and I've got to actually get up and go to the church game. I might get up and sneak in there like, "Hey, this is my happy Father's Day," and he's got like a machine gun, Nerf gun. I just unload. He's in this bottom bunk. He can't get away. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you very much. I love it.
So Joe, what do you call a person who's not a dad who makes dad jokes?
Whoa. No, so this is time to turn the car around and go home. What is going on?
That'd be a faux pas.
Oh, I can't get over to the music fast enough. I can't get to the music fast enough.
Thanks for joining us this week.